Subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon, and never miss an update from Latestly.
Favorite actor that I'd like to work with is Priyanka Chopra.
Do you practice yoga every day and how it has helped you?
I've been watching Bollywood films for many years.
So, what was it like meeting Manish as well as Hrithik?
But I would definitely have to start studying Hindi. Kind of friends with Salman Khan. I've met him a few times. He's a really nice guy.
So, when you think of Bollywood, what exactly comes to your mind and has that perception changed? Has it evolved in all these years? So she sets the silver screen on fire with her lava hot presence. But these days we are curious and we are absolutely hooked onto her Instagram page because what we see there is an absolute visual treat. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us on Latestly, first of all.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
And first thing first, as I said in my introduction, Instagram and the posts are looking gorgeous. They're getting hotter, in fact.
Well, thank you. I didn't realize, but thank you.
I think that element of Bollywood is doing more than just the glitz and the glamour. It is, and we are anticipating your arrival in Bollywood, of course.
Oh, well, that's very nice of you. I'm excited to work here. It's just about figuring out what's the right thing to do first and when and which project and with whom and all the above. Yeah.
Yeah. First, the stock question, the obvious one. What got you in this part of the world? What got you in India?
I've been watching Bollywood films for many years. I have been doing yoga my whole life. My
Yeah,
parents did yoga since I was a kid.
yeah,
And, I grew up in a Hollywood family, so we watched all kinds of movies from all over the world.
yeah.
And I've always just been fascinated with coming to Bollywood. I've met some of your actors, including Shah Rukh Khan many years ago, couple directors, couple producers in Los Angeles, and I've always just been fascinated with coming out here. And the timing was right, so I jumped on a plane and came over. Yeah.
And what does the word Bollywood mean to you? Generally, the word Bollywood is associated with more of dance, songs, because there is no place such as Bollywood as opposed to what is thought to
True.
be as Hollywood. So when you think of Bollywood, what exactly comes to your mind, and has that perception changed? Has it evolved in all these years?
I think the perception of Bollywood for me has modernized.
Mhm.
Um, my initial vision, when you say the word Bollywood, I think of a beautiful woman with long, flowing black hair and big eyes, smiling and kind of flirting with her eyes and dancing. That's I just immediately I imagine a woman, a beautiful woman singing in a high-pitched voice and dancing. Um, and now I think Bollywood has kind of become like uh, action movies, dancing, more like a theatrical Hollywood movie with some dance numbers in it. That's how I think of Bollywood now. I think it still has that dance element, but it has shifted into sort of like a little bit of a Hollywood type movie with some special effects and some graphics and I don't know, different kinds of storytelling coming and some biopics, some like, true stories coming, like the Cargill Girl on Netflix about the first pilot who ever flew helicopters, first female pilot. So I don't know. I think Bollywood now has it's kind of redefining itself.
And of course, with the OTT coming in, all the cultures and the sensibilities are all mixing up. What you say and see in America probably gets reflected here as well. What you say and see in India probably is seen in Hollywood movies as well. So, how do you see things mixing up, amalgamation of all these factors?
Well, I mean, I think that thanks to platforms like Amazon and Netflix and
Mm,
the internet in general,
mm,
um, we have, and thanks to a little bit to COVID, not that I want to say thanks to COVID for anything
yeah,
because it's been not that pleasant, but I think it has. made people go online and start watching more and more content on their smart TVs and on their laptops and on their phones
True.
now that we're in lockdown all the time. So I think we're all watching content from around the world. You know, we're not just watching stuff that our country makes, even though we might watch that predominantly. Like I'm an English speaking person, so I watch mostly English content. And then when I have free time, I watch some Bollywood movies, and I'll watch Squid Games. I'll watch some like Korean films or Korean dramas, you know. I watch all kinds of stuff. So I think I'm not like, I'm not that unusual. I think there's a lot of people like me around the world that are watching content from different parts of the world. So I think the OTT platform is just making our audience so much bigger, you know, it's
Yeah.
globalizing it. And I think actors are coming together and working together. You know, like Hollywood's casting a lot of ethnic faces now, and I'm sure Bollywood is shooting a lot of, you know, movies in Europe and might need some Caucasian actors in there. So that might be where I show up, you know.
Yeah, true. And what does it take for an American actor to come to India, aspire to work in Bollywood films? When I say that, I mean, one has to have sensibilities. One also has to have the proverbial palate, so to speak, to know the culture, perhaps to know the nuances. And having said that, internationally also, people are trying to capture human emotions,
Yeah.
irrespective of the geographical location that you come from. So, in that sense, how do you see uh, you getting a role in Bollywood film, or perhaps you taking Bollywood project somewhere in Hollywood? How do you say that? How do you see this?
Um, well, a good story is a good story, and human emotion, regardless of your language, yeah, like it can be conveyed, you know, because that's what an actor's job is to do. Obviously, it helps if you speak the language. So, yeah, I mean, that applies to me. You know, if I wanted to work seriously in Bollywood, I would definitely have to start studying Hindi and probably pick up a few words at least, because I would expect that even though most of my dialogue might be in English, because I'm an English speaking actor, I still might have some lines in Hindi. So I mean, being respectful of the language and of the type of project that it would be, I would have to pick up some of that language, and vice versa. You know, if somebody wanted to, like a Bollywood actor wanted to work in Hollywood, they would have to probably sharpen up some of their English skills and make sure that they were speaking properly. And but again, it all depends on the role. It all depends on the script. It all depends so much on what you're doing and what you're trying to, what kind of character you're playing. So you could be playing a deaf character who doesn't speak the entire movie. You could be playing, you know, a character that speaks 5 languages. Who knows? So um, I hope I answered your question appropriately.
Yes,
I'm
yes, you have.
did I? Okay.
And of course, coming back to your Instagram account, I mean, there's a plethora of color. There's a riot of color there. You are seen in different avatars and doing yoga, meeting all these Bollywood stars as well. But two posts particularly caught my attention. One with Manish Malhotra and one with
Oh,
Hrithik Roshan. So, what
yeah.
was it like meeting Manish as well as Hrithik, the Greek god himself?
The Greek god himself. Well, which one would you like to know about first?
Let's start with God because let's not make God angry.
All right, Rithik. Well, Rithik was lovely to meet, and as I've said in my other interviews, he's very easy to talk to and a good conversationalist. He comes from a movie family, as I did, so you know, we had that in common, and we were able to talk about movies. And I love Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii for several years and been going there my whole life. So we talked a little bit about Hawaii because he's one of the only people in Bollywood that I've met that has actually been to Hawaii.
Mm.
So that was nice to talk about. So he was very cool. He was a nice guy, and I had some ideas for him and things that I'd like to see him do one day. And he may or may not take those to heart. We'll see. But yeah. It was a nice conversation. Lovely guy, nice looking man, charming, kind, all the above.
Yeah. And of course, Manish Malhotra.
And Manish Malhotra, he was very cool. He was a very dapper looking guy. I didn't know he was going to be such a nice looking guy. Um, yeah, I didn't get to chat with him too much. It was just a very brief encounter, but I did wear his outfit one night. So the minute I saw him, everybody said, "Oh, that's the guy that, made your outfit." So of course
Yeah.
I went over to him and said, "Thank you for making something so beautiful."
So
Yeah.
most of the actresses that we see in Bollywood films, flaunting their chiffon saris somewhere in Switzerland in Alpine mountains, most of those saris come from his labels.
I see, I see. Well, he's a talented guy, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And now from here on, how do you see your journey? I mean, are you taking some offer in considerations? Are scripts coming your way? Are projects coming your way? Are you approaching director? What the process is like?
I think it's a little too soon to talk about that because I'm on like my second week here. And my first week, I really just went around wanting to meet everybody.
Yeah.
And now I think things are just like settling in. People are kind of getting a handle on who I am and what I want to do. And so I think the future looks bright and we'll see what happens. But I'm not going to say I've signed anything because so far people are just thinking about how to cast me and what projects they have coming up where I might fit in. And then we're talking about doing something else with some other people. So I can't say too much about that yet because it's too early to talk about. But
Any
yeah.
personal favorite that you would like to work with? Maybe a director, an actor?
Zoya Akhtar, I love her movies. I've now seen two of her movies and I loved both. Um, and a favorite actor that I'd like to work with is Priyanka Chopra.
Uh-huh.
Love to work with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then and I've become kind of friends with Salman Khan. I've met him a few times. He's a really nice guy and it would be really fun to work with him. But he makes very like, blockbuster Hindi films. So I don't know if we would be able to work on the same project because I'm going to probably be working on things that are more like for the OTT platform. And so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'd love to work with Priyanka Chopra. She's number one on my list right now.
And lastly, I just cannot let you go without asking this particular question, without answering this particular question, which is uh, how do you manage to say so radiant, and what role does yoga play in all this? What does yoga mean to you? Because for most of the Americans, yoga means only about, it boils down to twisting the body and doing this asana, that asana, doing poses. But yoga is far, far, far beyond that. It's all about connecting mind, body, and soul. So, how do you see the practice? Do you practice yoga every day, and how it has helped you in your personal space as well as in your professional space?
Well, I will say that yoga has, in many ways, saved my life on several occasions. So
Okay.
when I've had like very bad like breakups from boyfriends, or I've had like very devastating news in my family, like somebody passed away, or like really hard things that have happened to me, I turn to my yoga practice and just try to find that stillness, that inner peace. And um, I have to say the physical aspect of it has helped a lot to still my mind, but I
Yeah.
know that it's not just about a physical practice for sure, but I do feel better after I use my body and I get into my body and then I can kind of still my mind. So I if I was a good yogi, I would say I'm doing yoga every single day,
Mm.
but unfortunately I don't do yoga every single day. I try to do yoga every single day. I do something every single day. And I try to meditate or stretch or do some kind of practice every day, but it doesn't mean that it happens. But I definitely try. I try. So
So, Anna,
I
thank
would say
you.
probably five times a week, I would say.
Wow,
I'm
that's not bad at all. 5 times a week.
well,
Perhaps
thank you.
that makes you a
Thank
yogi
you.
already.
Well, I've been doing it for a long time. A lot of yoga for a long time.
Thank you so much for your time. Welcome to
Thank
India.
you.
Welcome to
Thank
India.
you.
And I hope you achieve what you want to achieve in this land.
Oh,
And
I will. Thank you.
and probably take your journey ahead and get your dreams fulfilled.
Yeah. I'll be here and I'll be there and I'll be, back and forth, I'm sure, in the future.
Absolutely.
Nice
Thank you
to
so
meet
much.
you. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thanks.